the Knights to a historic win over the Seagulls. While the Knights, New South Wales Cup. And Jersey Flag Cup sides also secure a win. First though, it was just fantastic for the Newcastle Knights, who managed to secure a win over the Manly Seagulls last night. It was just a spectacular one for the Knights, who of course managed to beat them with a 28-18 win. It was an incredible one for the Knights up at home at McDonald Jones Stadium. Greg Marsu scored the Knights' first try up in the first half. Then Bradman Best scored the Knights' second, with the Knights tying up at 8-all. But the second half was simply the best. Marsu scoring his second try. Of course, it became enough for the Knights to have a 14-all draw. But of course, the Knights were not going anywhere, as Marsu scored his third try of the night. And of course, the Knights led 18-14.
Same again. You get one, you get two.
But then after that, one of Manly's players soon learned his fate. He was given 10 minutes in the sin bin for headbutting Callum Ponga in the face.
Out by Manly.
But then good news came above for the Knights. Phoenix Crossland scoring a try.
This will be a try. Was that a try assist?
Even though the ref ruled it as a no try, it was just the best for the Knights.
He didn't lose the ball, is what the bunk is saying. It was stripped, not lost. And so therefore, it's a live ball and it's a try. Stripping the act of scoring.
Then a conversion came, with Jackson Hastings kicking one of the best goals. But then everyone had to throw it back to 1997, and of course Dominic Young running with the ball just 80 metres and scoring the match winner for the Knights as they won 28-18.
That'll break it open for them. The Knights will win at home.
And of course, as the Knights became simply the best, paying tribute to one of music's well-known icons, Tina Turner, following her passing at the age of 83 on Thursday.
And while they'll be bemoaning their woes, Big Dom Young says,
but then it was an incredible one for Daniel Saifidi. It was his 150th game.
Classy players, they're going to come out with a lot of enthusiasm. They did that. They put us on the back foot early, but we were able to come on top, which is real pleasing.
On a personal note, mate, 150th tonight, and to get a win, how much you be feeling tonight?
Oh, it's amazing. It's good to win tough like that. Like you said, 4 out of 5 wins at home. You do something, the fans something to cheer about.
And of course, up at the end, the Knights had to perform their victory song right inside the sheds. But meanwhile, it was also good for the Knights' New South Wales Cup side after they demolished the Seagulls 26-20. And of course, with a few tries scored, it was just fantastic. And finally, the Knights' Jersey Flag Cup side had a huge win over the Seagulls, and it was massive. And of course, it was just the best one of all. And of course, it was amazing up at McDonald Jones Stadium, where of course the best ones simply had to become the good ones. And of course, it's where home simply is where the heart is. And it's home for all the uncontrollable ones as well. But of course, as Newcastle had it, it was just amazing. With the Knights, New South Wales and Jersey Flag Cups finals hopes alive, it was just popular. And because of that, tries kept on coming, and it was just one of the best of both the morning and the afternoon. And of course, with all three night sides all securing victories. After a break, Denman defeats Greta Braxton in Group 21 with Rugby League.
What does it take for a car to become an Audi? It takes determination that knows no limits. It takes commitment that finds the tiniest of defects. And it takes an eye for detail that sees more than others. In other words, it takes more than 100 years of perfection. That's the only way for a car to become an Audi.
Come on, the big red ball, from the bush to the bay. Yes, it's Lotto. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. It's the big one you want. It's a game for you. 'Cause it's the big red ball that makes dreams come true. Dreams come true. Dreams come true. The big red ball. The big red ball. It's the big red ball that makes dreams come true.
Above luxury and beyond progressive lies a new way of thinking. This is the art of progress. This is the new Audi A8. Wake up in the morning, gotta get because the Herald is the best way to start your day.
Still in Rugby League and in the Group 21 competition, and Denman has secured a huge victory over Greta Braxton. It was huge for Denman, who were too strong for their rivals right throughout the game.
For the game. No, he stopped him. He's dropped to the ground. 5 metres out. He stopped himself. Now they've got numbers set to this right-hand side. It's Tavui. Tavui's over. It's a try to the Denman Devils. Heartbreak moments for the Greta Braxton.
Of course, Denman won the match 22-18. Also, it was huge for the Aberdeen Tigers, defeating Muswellbrook with a huge win.
Freddie Adams gives it on out there to Caleb.
While in the
trying to get through. Short side, puts the little slipper in. That's going to be too deep. It's deflected. No, it's not. And it's going to
while in the other game,
it's going to be Johnson. It's on to young Pennell. Pennell inside ball. It's been hit by Singleton.
In the other game, the Scone Thoroughbreds had a huge win over the Singleton Greyhound.
That's a good try.
To round 7, of Hunter Premier Rugby, and Merewether Carlton were just too strong for the Two Blues right throughout the entire game, winning the match with a historic 52-point win.
Untouchable here today. Yep, is Sam Rouse. There you go. So another try across the field. Here's Sikiotis. Sikiotis tries to barge his way over.
And of course, Merewether continued on. And of course, Merewether continued to score. And of course, it was right above until the final few minutes of the game.
Inside ball to Milton. Milton with a pop ball. Flicked out the back. Frost can't pick it up. And in the end, Fisher. Fisher goes over untouched. That's just, depth of possession there by the Greens, and the Wanderers just came up with nothing. Oh, that's a try. Yeah, I thought.
But meanwhile, in the other games, Maitland defeated the Hamilton Hawks 39-17. Of course, the match that you just saw, Merewether Carlton defeated the Wanderers 52-22, which is now the club's which is now Merewether's biggest win of the season. And the Students defeated the Southern Beaches 38-12. To round 9 of Newcastle Rugby League, and the Maitland Pickers' unbeaten run continues, with last year's premiers defeating the Entrance Tigers with a 25-point win.
Once again, the left edge, Maitland proving very, very dangerous and hard for the Tigers to contain.
And of course, Maitland continued to score right throughout the game.
Will Neuenhuis, a lovely step there, just wrong-footed.
Because of that, the Pickers were just too strong for their rivals, who of course tried to have a fight back, but were unable to.
With it now. Flicks it out the back to McLean. Play on here for the Tigers. Pearsall runs to the line. He had a few runners with him. He's onto it. They're 10 away. They go back to the left. Burriston inside the key. He straightens up, spins.
He's a handful. He's a handful of
the line.
He scored it.
He's got there.
He scored it. Jason to the post.
Tigers get their second. For a minute there, I thought Rob Bowen was going to check for the touchies just to confirm, but puts the ball down. And just like the first half, Tigers strike first. 12-10 kick to come. They should make it 12 all very shortly.
Yeah, very good set for the Entrance. Will power their way down field on a backward penalty. And
before Maitland had one of the best chances. And of course, Maitland managed to score a try just in the 61st minute.
Last one here for Maitland. Daniel Langbridge. Out of the sky.
And of course, Bailey Taylor scored for the Pickers.
great catch. Good try.
Of course, with Maitland leading 16-12.
16-12, 20 to go. Could be a game changer. Bailey Taylor. At 41 away here, the Entrance. Down the short side they come.
Then the Entrance was threatening to strike back.
Eventually he's wrapped up Nelson. McLean. Fafita linking up with Burriston. Inside is Twali. Gets the ball away. Fafita's with it. What can Fafita do? Gets away from Langbridge. Gets away from Lowell. Pops the ball inside to McLean. Kyle McLean's over. Great stuff from Fafita.
Sensational play from the Tigers forwards.
Kyle McLean gets the Tigers third, 18-16.
Kyle McLean, very proudly sponsored by Cole Thurston Electrical at Baddo Bay.
But thankfully, Maitland were not going down without a fight.
To Alchin. They're hanging on here.
The points are locked on at 18 all.
Langbridge.
Then they kicked a field goal.
Field goal. He's got it.
As Maitland led 19-18.
19-18. Just under 8 remaining.
Still plenty of time in this game for either side.
Langbridge.
It certainly was. And of course, with Maitland winning the match 25-18. It was right above in the final few minutes on the clock.
Last one here for Maitland. Inside the final 2. Daniel Langbridge is with it. Runs.
And of course, with the Pickers managing to score. James Bradley scoring the match-winning try.
23-18. James Bradley gets his 6th for 2023. And what a finish. Thought the Tigers might have had one last shot, but not to be.
Some Tigers players remonstrating with the referee and touch judge.
Hopefully we'll have you back next time the Tigers are playing.
And hopefully all the sponsors are happy.
While in the other games, the Macquarie Scorpions upset Lakes United 32-24. While in the match that you just saw then, the Maitland Pickers defeated the Entrants right up at number 1 Sports Ground 25-18. Meanwhile, the Cessnock Goannas suffered their first loss of the season, which was heartbreaking, right up at Maryborough Oval on the Central Coast to the Wallaroos. Also, both the Central Newcastle Butcher Boys and the Western Suburbs Rosellas secured a 14-all draw up at St John's Oval, while the Northern Hawks secured a home game victory up at Tomaree to get things back to good. And of course, they did just that by beating the Curry Bulldogs 50 points to 18, while the South Newcastle Lions had the bye. To round 8 of the AFL Hunter Central Coast, and Newcastle City has beaten Warners Bay 199-0, while Cardiff defeated Killarney Vale 119-11. And Wyong has beaten Telgor Avoca with a 86-47 victory. Still on it, and in the women's, and Maitland secured a win over Telgor Avoca, Port Stephens down to Gosford, while Newcastle City took down Muswellbrook. In the other game, and the Entrants Battersea Bay took down Killarney Vale, while Cardiff had the bye. In the NBL 1 East, and in the men's, the Newcastle Falcons defeated the Norths Bears with a huge win. It was huge for the Falcons, who were too strong for their rivals. But meanwhile, it was an exciting one for the Maitland Mustangs, who managed to defeat Manly with a huge victory. It was huge for Maitland, who were just too strong for Manly, defeating them with a huge victory.
Nice shot. Very nice shot.
And of course, Maitland managing to 99-73. To the Newcastle District Women's Hockey, and of course the Eagles were too strong for Souths, 3 points to 2, while Gosford and Oxford shared the points at one all, while Norah Head defeated the Entrants Tigers. to ice hockey, and the North Stars have secured an 8-5 win over the Brisbane Lightning. It was fantastic for the North Stars, who were just too good for their rivals up at the Hunter Ice Skating Stadium at Warners Bay over the weekend. And of course, the North Stars now the best favourites to take out this year's Goodall Cup. To round 13 of the Hunters NPL men's competition, and Maitland were too good for New Lambton, while the match between Adamstown and Cooks Hill was called off. Meantime, Newcastle Olympic defeated Lake Macquarie. Meantime, the other match that was postponed as well was of course the one between Valentine and Charlestown Azuri. Also, Western Workers and Lambton drew 3-3, and Bordermatter Magic secured a 5-3 win over Edgeworth. To round 12 of the women's, and the match between Bordermatter Magic and Maitland was postponed on Friday due to wet weather. Also, but it returned on Saturday with Newcastle Olympic defeating New Lambton. Also, Charlestown Azuri defeated Adamstown by the same score. Meantime, Warners Bay's losing streak has continued after they went down to Mid Coast 4-0. In round 15 of the Northern League 1 competition, and Thornton has secured a win over Cessnock. While one team at the bye, and of course that West Wallsend didn't play, and because of that, Singleton secured a win over Wallsend. Also, Toronto Awaba secured a win over Belmont Swansea. Also, Cohiba had a win over South Cardiff. But of course, round 13 started last week, and of course, Singleton had a win over Belmont. While there was no game for Toronto Awaba as they had the bye, of course, Cohiba had a win over Cessnock City, and of course, South Cardiff and Wallsend had to have a draw last Sunday, and of course, West Wallsend had a victory over Thornton. And of course, finally tonight, the Newcastle Knights visited the Thrifty lane as part of and because of that, it was part of the Supercars 500. Because of that, Matt Croker quickly completed a hot lap around the track, so let's have a quick look.
Hey guys, we're down here at the Newcastle Thrifty Supercars 500. It's the warm-up day on the Friday. We just want to thank Thrifty for having us. We're going to meet with a couple of fans, and it's going to be a really good day. New cars this year, if you haven't already heard, Gen 3 cars. So they're a lot lower and wider than the previous car we had. But basically the whole car is custom built. The only thing that's the same as a road car is basically a tail light and headlight. We're doing probably about 230, 240, and we race about when you hit the little bumps in the NBN, you feel like you're going through
He does it so calm, and you're a bees away from the hitting the barrier. It's insane.
That's about it for this Monday.
Non-story good, but lunchtime Wednesday and Thursday.
Of course, that's right. And all of us here for now.
Good night.
Good night.
He's got Kepi there. He goes straight past him. He beat Ruben Garrett. He stepped the fullback Kola. There's Manly players coming from everywhere.